Good day. Well, we've got ourselves an interesting project coming up here. I've got a customer that wants to build a commemorative 101st Airborne Garand. He's been to Normandy and he's seen everything there from D-Day, and he's quite taken by it all. His interest in World War II is really growing. So he decided to build a special commemorative Garand dedicated to the 101st Airborne. So he's given me this as our base to start with. What we've got is a Breda Garand, rather than because of what we're going to do, we're going to be screwing up some nomenclature, so we didn't want to use a USGI Garand. So we've got a nice Breda here, which doesn't have that much value compared to a GI one. It's in a Boyd's reproduction stock, which I'll spend a little time on. I'll age it a little bit and do my tricks with it. I just wanted to show you a few details on this Breda before we even start. I just want to zero in on some of the original markings, and what we're going to end up doing is there we go. What we're going to end up doing is we're going to take all those markings and we're going to weld them. They're a little bit too deep to try and file out. I don't know that I could file those out or not. They're pretty deep. So I'm going to get those welded. Same with on the side. Turn this over a little bit. Once again, it's just a standard Breda Mechanica Romana Italia. I'll get in a little bit closer. There we go. Breda Mechanica Romana Italia. So that'll all be filled in with weld, and new markings will be put. We'll have to retain the same serial number. That same serial number right there, the BMR 5888. We'll have to retain that, but all the other stuff can go. And additional markings celebrating the 101st Airborne are going to be laser etched into this gun. So it's going to be quite a nice project. This one's going to be blued, actually. We're going to do this in black oxide. I know Garands were always parkerized, but we're going to do this one in black oxide just to look a little different. I'm not sure what we're going to do about the gas tube yet. Probably paint it. Like I said, the stock's going to be gone over, and I'll stain it and tongue oil it. Might even do some engraving on the stock. We're not sure yet, but all the parts are here. It's a complete gun. No real issues. There's a little bit of a few little marks in the receiver, as you can see there. Nothing too severe, but they are there. So I will once again get this receiver annealed, because these are very hard. Now, I've never worked on a Breda, so I don't know what the Rockwell on a Breda is, but I know on a standard US Garand the Rockwell is usually between 60 and 65. So the specs actually call for 59 to 65. So, but Bredas, I don't know. I imagine they're similar. The government specs would be government specs no matter what. Looking this receiver over, I don't see any big issues. Might be a little tiny bit of pitting there, getting close. Little tiny bit of pitting you can see right there, but nothing much. A few machining marks. We're going to get all those out. If we're going to go to the trouble to blue it, we want it to look fairly nice. So it's not going to be a high gloss blue, but it's certainly going to show any little imperfections. So I will make sure that we mint this receiver right out. Just got your standard post-war rear sight. Op rod, everything looks good on that. It's got no big issues. A few machining marks once again, but that's to be expected. No rust or pits. ferrule all looks good. Bands and ferrules, that all looks good. Don't see any issues there. Looks nice. Sling swivel looks good. So I'm happy with everything. We're retaining the same barrel, I believe. Actually, this has probably already been rebarreled to 308. I think that's, yeah, I think it's already been rebarreled. The customer rebarreled it before he brought it here. So we don't have any barrel to change, although if I'm going to anneal the receiver, I do have to remove the barrel. So, and the trigger guard looks good. We don't see any big problems. You know, a few minor little marks in there, but they're not very deep. They can all be filed out. No pitting. Got nice parts here. Got a milled trigger guard. Rear sling swivel looks good. Butt plate. Let me just have a look at the butt plate here. I imagine the butt plate is probably a reproduction, but they make a really nice reproduction now. Yeah, I don't know for sure. I haven't talked to the customer. He supplied it, so, but I suspect it's reproduction. But it looks good. Don't see any problems with it. It's too nice to be original to this gun, so let's go with reproduction. So overall, we're starting with a pretty good unit. No major issues. I'll go ahead and get it torn down, and the wood's got nice grain. It's going to look good when it's all stained and tongue oiled. But I'm going to get it all torn down today and get it in degreaser, get it all cleaned up. I'll remove the barrel from the receiver, and then the receiver can be annealed, and I can get started on doing whatever little bit of metalwork needs to be done. Although there's not much on this one. Mostly machining marks that need to be removed. So, but this would be a piece of cake compared to some of the ones I've been working on lately. So anyway, that's a basic introduction to the piece. As I work on it, I'll keep you posted. It's going to be an interesting project. You'll love it when it's all done. Unfortunately, I promised the customer that no videos are going to be released until the whole gun is finished. So he wants to keep it a secret, but that's okay. It's worth the wait. It'll be a nice piece. You're going to see that. So I'm going to sign off for now, but I will get back to you as soon as I've got something to report. Okay? All right. Have yourselves a good day. All right, so let's see what we've got. We've got our Garand all torn down now, and we'll just have a quick review of the parts. I've already gone over all the parts, and everything's in really good shape. This is a nice rifle. There's a few GI parts in here, but mostly Breda. We're starting with the Breda receiver because we're going to be doing subsequent re-engraving on that receiver. We're going to build a top secret commemorative rifle here, dedicated to the 101st Airborne. So the original Breda markings we're going to get rid of and put our own markings on as specified by the customer. So we've got ourselves a Boyd's reproduction stock. They're pretty nice stock. I've worked with them before. I do a few tricks with them to age them a little bit so they don't look quite so modern. I can make them look a little bit more World War II-ish. I even restain them a slightly different color. So just something that I developed on my own, but it turns out good. My customers seem to like it. So we've got everything torn right down. There's nothing left. I'm just going to grab this receiver and show you a little bit of what we're going to do. I've already gone into this in some detail, but we're going to take these original Breda markings right there, and we're going to we're going to fill them in with weld, because I don't want to try and file those out. They're pretty deep. I don't want to make the receiver thin. So we're going to fill those in with weld. Those there. This here. We're going to fill all that in with weld too. And then that'll allow us to put our own markings on as specified by the customer. That's the only markings that need to be done on this receiver. The receiver has a couple of minor bits of damage, but nothing much. A few little minor dings and pits, but not much. Mostly just machining marks. We're going to be bluing this one for a change, as opposed to parkerizing, which they all were. So bluing is going to show up a little bit more as far as rough metal work or pitting or anything like that. So we're going to polish this receiver to remove any and all imperfections in it and make it look a little bit nicer. The first thing that's going to be done, the very first thing, once I send it out to the TIG welding shop, is they're probably going to, right here, they're probably going to do a metallurgy test in there and determine what alloy or what metal this is made of. And they'll find a compatible rod. They have hundreds of different rods in stock. This TIG weld shop that works for the tool and die industry, so they have literally hundreds of different types of rods in stock. And they'll take a metallurgy test, and once they come up with a rod that's going to be very compatible, they'll go ahead and weld it, and then I'll send it out and get it annealed. We'll take all the strength out of it. Now we do that before it gets welded, so that the not only does the receiver get annealed, but the subsequent new weld gets annealed. So A, it's much easier to file and work with, and B, once it's annealed and the receiver's annealed, it's much easier for the two to blend into each other. So that in a finished product it won't look so obvious. Hopefully it'll be completely invisible that new metal was added. But you know, certain steps that have to be done in a certain order. There's just no way around it. So once that gets done, once it gets annealed, then it comes back to me. I do all my file work and all my metal finishing, make sure that it looks really good, do some polishing, get rid of all the machining marks, and make the receiver look just as pretty as we can. A few other exterior pieces, like the the trigger guard, those machining marks, we're going to get those out of there. Any other little dings and gouges, that'll all be repaired and filed out. So everything's going to be minted right out, and then we're going to send it back out and get it black oxided, and then I'm going to reassemble it. So it's going to be quite a nice project. It's going to be one of a kind. We might even do some laser work on the stock. There might be some engraving done to the stock, but I'm not 100% sure yet. I need to confer with the customer. But we got ourselves a real nice starting point here. So I just wanted to keep you up on this step of it. So everything's torn down. It's ready now to be welded and annealed. So the metalwork part is going to start very soon. So just stay tuned, and we'll let you know how it all turns out. We'll keep you in the loop.